Hi everybody, this is your tech teacher Backo here, and I'm going to today show you guys how to get started on your All About Me PowerPoints. Alright, so to start things off, the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to go down here to the area where it says type here to search, and we are going to search for PowerPoint. So if you type in POWER, you should be able to get your PowerPoint app and open that up. And then once this opens up, we are going to go ahead and open a blank presentation. Alright, so our All About Me PowerPoints are basically going to be a PowerPoint about you, right? So we started with the spreadsheet that kind of generated some ideas for you guys for your PowerPoints, and we'll be using that as we go through this. But to start with, the first thing that you're going to work on is your title page, and that's what this is here. Now, there's different ways you can do the title, and I think the easiest thing to do is just to go ahead and click in the area that's the title here, and we're going to just go ahead and type our title. And for me, and you can use this as well, if you just want to call it All About Me, that will be fine. If you want to come up with some other name, that would be fine too. But if you just go with All About Me, that's fine. The other thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of adjust this size of this so the box is a little bit more narrow, a little more separated. The subtitle down here, what we're going to use for the subtitle, and this would be your name. So whatever you want to put down there for your name, first and last name would be fine. That would be good. So let's do that for who's creating this. All right, now to start, obviously, when you're doing your title, I don't want it to be just plain black and white. I want you to kind of spruce it up a little bit. Similar to what we did on our calendars, I want you to use word art for it. So to do that, we're not going to insert word art. We don't have to do that. We could insert it on the insert tab, but we already have a title going on here. So what we can do is when we have our text selected, you get the drawing tools up here on the top, and you'll see the format. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now, wherever my cursor is, I can change this, and it's only going to change that word. So in order for me to change the whole thing or select the word art style that I want, I have to select all of the lettering here that I want. So I just kind of highlight over top of that with my left mouse button. And then I can go ahead and drop this down, and then there's several different choices that you can make for your word art style. I'm going to go ahead and pick this blue one here, and then that kind of gets me started off on what we can do with this. And remember, when we did the calendar, there's several different options that we can do. The first thing that you can do is go ahead and go to your Home tab, and on the Home tab, you can change the font. And in here, there's several different fonts that you can choose from, obviously. So you can kind of scroll through there, find one that you like, and as you can see, as I scroll through, it kind of changes as I go through it. So just pick one here. All right, I'll go with that one. So then you can go back to the Format tab, and if you don't like the color, you can always change the color to something different. So if I wanted to go with a nice bright red or something like that, you could do that. It still keeps that word art style, but just changes the color up a little bit. I can also change the outline if I wanted to. Right now it's just a plain white outline, but if I wanted to make it black, I could do that, make it stand out a little bit more. Then underneath that, you also have text effects. This is where it gets kind of fun. Okay, there's lots of different things you can do with the text effects. Remember when we did the calendar, you could add like a shadow to it, which is, just basically like a drop shadow on your lettering. You can also do a reflection, which is kind of like a mirror image of whatever you got going on there. So I'll use that one. You can also use a glow, which makes your letters glow a little bit. You can also do a bevel. The bevel starts to make your lettering look a little more three-dimensional. So you can go ahead and click on one of those bevels if you want. You can't really see it too much, but if I zoom in, you can probably see the 3 dimensions a little bit on there. But you can make that stand out even a little bit more if you go ahead and go to the 3D rotate and then tip it back slightly like so. Then you can kind of see that bottom edge a little bit more, makes it a little more 3-dimensional. And then the last effect that you could use is transform. What transform does is it basically will bend your work a little bit. So if I go ahead and click on one of these, go back, zoom back out a little bit, you can see that it kind of bends. And now as I stretch this box out, it will change the size and how my lettering kind of looks. I can also go on this little yellow button here and adjust how much I bend it. So if I don't want it as much, I can kind of move that back up. If I want a little more, I could do it there. So you could do different things, and there's all kinds of different transforms that you could pick from if you want to use something different. But I usually try to pick something to try to make it stand out a little bit. All right, so then you could, as far as your name goes, you don't necessarily have to use word art for your name, but you might want to use something that's similar to the same kind of font that you might have used for that. You can kind of put that down there. And we'll add more to this as we go. With that's basically what you're going to do for your title. Now, the second thing that you're going to start doing when you do this PowerPoint is you need to add another slide. So to add a new slide, you go ahead over here where it says New Slide. Go ahead and click on that. And then when the new slide that usually pops in by default is title and content. So the first thing here is you have clicked to add title. So we're going to add a title, and this is going to be what I will share. Now you can add something different if you want to come up with a different title for that, that's fine. But basically what this slide is everything that we included in our spreadsheets that we did. So when you did your spreadsheets, we basically came up with 5 different categories. You had like my favorite TV shows, my favorite movies, you might have had your friends. I guess I got to spell that right. My friends. One thing I did want you to include in this list is your family. And also another thing, these were not included necessarily on your spreadsheets, but I do want them in your PowerPoints. Another thing was that I want you to have is something about me that you may not know. All right, so you can go ahead and put that in. Usually I like to capitalize the words in my titles or headings like this. So if you want to go through and make sure that you capitalize them all, that would be good. I should have did that when I was typing them out. There we go. All right, so now I have 5 things in my category. You only need to list 5 things here, but remember, 2 of them have to be these here. Okay, so you have to have at least 2 things, these 2 things, my family and something about me you may not know. Now you don't have to have it here. You could actually move it up here to the top if you want. You can put your family first, which your family should come first. That would be good. You put that up there where you want it. If you want to add more to this, you can add more to it. You don't necessarily have to stop with 5, but I would limit yourself to probably 8 or 9 things here. I wouldn't go more than that because then you're going to be getting into a lot of different slides here. I really want to, try to make sure that you limit yourself here on that. So anyway, now you come up with your categories and put those in there, and then every additional slide, the slides, if you're doing these 5 things, for instance, you're going to have 5 other slides, 1 for each one of these. So my next slide, if I was to add one, this is going to be on my family. All right, then if I add another slide, if I go back here, my favorite TV shows, that would be this one. Then you would continue and add another slide. This would be my favorite movies, and so on. Okay, so then that basically gets you kind of going on this. Eventually what we're going to end up doing is we're going to add backgrounds to these. We'll add animations and some other things, and those will be in other videos as we move through this. But today's basically this video was to show you how to get started on it, get your title going, get your list working as far as that second slide, and then maybe starting to set up your other slides that go along with it. And I'll also include, there's one more slide that you'll have at the end, which is the end slide, and we'll get into that as we go through the different videos for this. So if you have any questions about this, please make sure that you ask, and this way, I can kind of go through them in class and maybe answer some of the questions that your classmates might have as well. Okay, so hopefully this helps you out and gets you started, and we'll see you in the next video.